All right, welcome back to day number 18. We're on page 84 in the Treasure for Life version of the Orchos Tzaddikim. Second to bottom line. Umi sheyesh bo midas hagava tzarich lehishtadel v'loshuv mimeno miatzmo. A person who is afflicted with this negative trait of haughtiness, of arrogance, has to exert himself and retract himself from it, for it is a bad defect in a person. Ki hu miguna me'od ve'ahezek shelo rav u'matzui tamid. And that it's a terrible, terrible trait, and its potential harm is severe. Ve'ato'eles sheyesh bo me'at. And the benefit of all arrogance is really null. Lefikach, therefore, tzarich lehisrachek mimeno me'od. A person needs to be very, very, very distant from this negative trait. Ki hagava mevias adam l'dei shever. Arrogance brings a person to be completely broken. K'mo shenemar, as the verse states, lifnei shever gaon. Haughtiness goes before destruction. And also that arrogance will bring a person to lowliness. Shenemar gavas adam tishpilenu. The arrogance will lead a person to lower himself at the end. Ukvar yadato ma ere Pharaoh. We know what happened to Pharaoh. Ba'amro mi Hashem asher eshma bekolo. Where Pharaoh arrogantly said, "Who's God that I should listen to His voice?" To Goliath, the Philistine. Haplishti sha'amar. Ani cheirafti es ma'arachos Yisrael. I have disgraced the armies of Israel. Sancherev she'amar. And to Sancherev, who said, Mi b'chol elokei ha'arotzos ha'el asher hitzilu es arzo miyadi. Who among the gods of all these lands rescued their lands from my hand? Or like Nebuchadnezzar, who he said, Be'amro, uman hu al Ella di yeshezvinchun min yadi. And who is the God who will deliver you from my hands? V'hadomer lohem asher amru kedivreim v'acharisam hoisa buz v'kolan. And all these and many others who said similar things, and their end was shame and disgrace. And someone who's lost in this negative trait is not going to be saved from sin and transgression. Like King Solomon says, the proud scorner is called a mocker. He acts in the fury of malice. Page 87 on top, we continue. The author says, V'kevan shehigiu dvorenu. Adhena, now that we have reached this point of our conversation on haughtiness, ledaber alagava, arrogance, shma divrei chachamim, listen to the words of the wise. Chacham echad omer, one wise says, Mi hu asher lo tipored mimeno hada'aga. One sage says, who is he from whom worry will never depart? We know that everyone has an element of worry. Hamevakesh lalos elamalo shehi lemala himenu. Who's the person whom is he from whom worry will never depart? One who seeks a stature that is above him. Ve'amru mi shemachzik atzmo becheskas daton, and whoever holds himself as being a knower, someone who knows everything, klomar shemachzik atzmo chacham, he thinks he's very wise. Machzikim oso b'nei adam shote. He thinks he's so wise, but everybody else knows that he's foolish. Ve'amru samuch lagavo me'alalim roim. One who hold next to haughtiness are bad deeds. That's right next door. And one whose deeds are bad is always hated by others, and people will turn away from him. Masmedes oso sinas abrios v'anefashos notos me'elav. And another wise man said, Ka'asher ni'imus hatsura or haguf. Just as pleasantness of countenance, of a smile, is the light of the body, so pleasantness of character is the light of the soul. Kach ni'imus hamidos or hanefesh. So which one is better? To be arrogant and hated ultimately at the end? Or to be pleasant and kind? Then everyone loves you. Ve'amar od ein mechashivus hanefesh sheyeh hamelech mizgoreh al bnei adam. It is not dignified for a king to lord himself over other men. Kol shekain bnei adam, how much more so for mankind, for one man to be arrogant over another person. Adam acherim zalzeh, or different people. Oh, I'm so successful. I'm so much better than him. I'm so much wealthier than him. That's really it's repugnant and repulsive. The Omar. Shahaya melech echad yoshev al kisei malchusi. There was a king who was sitting on his throne. Ulefanav hayu shalosh kisos, and in front of him were three chairs. Zeh milamala mizeh, one on top of the other. Lahoshiv kol echad kugdulaso, and to place each person according to their ranking. Ubolefanav shlosha giborim, and three mighty people came in front of the king. V'yoshvu zeh lamala mizeh, and one sat on top of the other. And the king said to them, how did you guys sit one on top of the other without my permission? In the top one he says, he says, my family ancestry is greater than the other guys, so that's why I sat on the highest. The second one says, Alisi al asher tachtoi, because I'm wiser than the guy beneath me, I sat above him. The third one said, Shiflus nafshi v'dakos libi ashivuni tachteim. He says, my lowliness of my soul and my downtroddenness of my heart sat me beneath them, where the king raised him and exalted him above the other two. He elevated him above all the others. And this it says, Kitov Omar lecha alei heino me hashpilcha lefnei nadiv. Come up, for it is better that it be said to you, come up here, than that you be lowered before the prince. When a person sees that the trait of arrogance is overtaking him, he has to think of things that frighten his heart. For example, like the Mishnah tells us, to always remember that man comes from a putrid drop. That he will return to dust, and his end will be worms and maggots. And ultimately, we're going to give our accounting in front of the King of Kings, the Holy One, blessed is He. And he should think to himself, he should think of how many haughty men have vanished from this world, and they've been forgotten from this world as if they never were. And what benefit was their arrogance? It's so important for a person to realize that Hashem is the creator of heaven and earth. Hashem is the one who brought us into this world, and Hashem is the one who gives us everything that we have. Who are we to be haughty over other people? Who are we to be arrogant over another person? The other people were gifted by Hashem as well, in different ways. So you're taking the one way in which you have a specialty and thinking you're better than someone else when it doesn't even belong to you? That specialty is a gift from Hashem. This concludes day number 18. My dear friends, I look forward to continuing day 19.